America has a strange relationship with sex. We're obsessed with it, but it terrifies us. We censor it because it's constantly being shoved down our throats. But our dirty little secret is we like things shoved down our throats, especially when we're in bondage, or we're wearing leather, or being slapped around a little bit, and oh, God. I'm Sunny Megatron. Join Ken Melvoinberg and I as we explore, dissect, and demystify American sex.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. American Sex with Ken Melvoinberg and Sunny Megatron.
I'm clapping. This is my song of the podcast. Yeah, songs with clapping and podcast sex songs. This is like, do you remember, Ken, being a child of the 80s?
Don't you stop.
No, do you remember being a child of the 80s? I don't know if this was maybe a girl thing. If you did this with your guy friends, we would get cassette
Does this
tape.
have to do with watermelons?
No. But I did do this with Debbie. You get a cassette tape and you just record silly things and like make your own radio shows on cassette tape.
Yeah, we did do that. We
Really?
made our own. Yeah, we made our own radio shows. We used a lot of the bands that were big in like the punk rock scene at the day, and we would do like our own private thing, and then we would throw in some conspiracy theory stuff. And
Oh, see,
try to
we
make a
did
radio
like
show out of it.
we did like Saturday Night Live skit with weird characters.
Oh, no,
and
we weren't. I mean, we were funny, but it was accidental.
And then we were always perverted. It always turned into something perverted. Every time.
That's awesome.
Yes, I know, it's awesome. So, Ken, it's been a whole...
Yes, Sonny.
It's been a whole entire week. What have you been up to, and what do you have planned?
Well, I'm not going to talk about what I've been up to because this is our 17th take. And
we're doing
we
better
can't
than
discuss
last
that.
week.
Yes.
We're doing better than last week.
Much better than last week. But what I am going to be doing is going to San Diego Comic-Con coming up. And I'm going to be there next week, so it'll be over with by the time this airs.
Right. It'll be in the past. It'll be like in your DeLorean time machine 3 weeks ago
We will be
by the
going
time
backwards.
this airs.
And
yeah.
I'm going there to assist with a panel about the last movie I did, Diminuendo, which was written by the amazing Sarah Goldberger and Bryn Pryor, and it was starring Chloe Dykstra and the late, great Richard Hatch, who just passed away not too long ago. He was an amazing actor, somebody that I'm proud that I could call friend. And really got to know him towards the end.
And just so people out there know, you're not talking about the Richard Hatch from Survivor. Which Richard
Correct.
Hatch are you talking about? How do we know him?
He was in the original Battlestar Galactica, and he played Tom Zarek in the second Battlestar Galactica. He had written games. He had done other books and movies. He was just an amazing actor who trained a lot of other actors, and that was like one of his great gifts, is training other people to be as good as he was. And we worked with him, and he loved this movie, saw it, and it was actually written for him. Also in the movie are Gigi Edgley, who will be signing autographs at Comic-Con, and Walter Koenig, who played Chekhov in the original Star Trek. And I'm probably going to be there assisting Walter most of the time. He's an amazing guy and really fun to hang out with.
Cool. And I'll be home with the children.
Yes, you'll be home with the children.
Editing podcasts. Ooh.
And I'll be hanging out with Chekhov.
I live such a glamorous life. Well, give Chekhov my love.
I will.
So this is episode 2, Ken.
This is episode 2.
2 whole episodes. And I like this, the way our podcast is unfolding, because the first episode, people got to know us a bit. We're kind of laying a foundation, talking about sex positive stuff. And maybe some of the people listening haven't heard about some of the stuff that we're going to talk about. So, and then I'm thinking, maybe 5 or 6 podcasts, and we'll really unleash the freaky stuff like cake farts and abductions. And what do you think?
You know what, I think that freaky stuff is going to be subjective, because we are actually going to get into some stuff today that is at least not techniques that aren't as well known, and it's sexual techniques for people with prostates.
Ooh. We're also going to have a little. We're going to talk about vaginas for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
For a minute.
That's true.
Yeah. We're talking about all the genitals, which is kind of awesome. But I do want to revisit some of what we talked about last week, because last week,
go for it.
This was sort of a
The love language debacle.
Yes, the love language. It wasn't a debacle. It was a good conversation, but it it was a very spontaneous conversation. It was not really one that we had planned to talk about.
No,
so
and I know you haven't had time to read the book yet, so
Right.
you did some internet research.
I did. I spent the last week researching the love languages a little bit more, and thinking about some of the drawbacks. Like you just flat out said, these love languages are bullshit. That was your love language, right?
To be specific, what I want to say exactly what I meant by that is that you could really apply those words to anything that is a version of emotional literacy. Right. So you're just basically talking about understanding what makes you tick, what makes your partner tick, and making sure that those two things coincide with each other at some point during the relationship. Because if you don't, you have nothing in common, and you're going to end up not together anymore.
And before we go any further, for anyone who didn't listen to episode 1 or it was so long ago you don't remember, The 5 Love Languages is a book, a hit best-selling book. It was written...
And it's dairies, meats, grains...
What?
Veggies.
What are you talking?
The 5 love languages.
Are you doing like the food groups?
Yes.
No. No.
I can't believe you just caught on to that.
Oh, God. Can't I think that was funnier in your head than in mine?
It was way funnier in my head.
Okay. So The 5 Love Languages is a book that was originally written in 1992 by a...
All right, let me try this again. Was it Doc, Dopey, Sneezy?
Oh, come on.
What are the 5 love languages?
I'm going to tell you in a minute. First, I'm saying what it is, Ken. You know what?
Waiting is so hard.
The 6 love languages bickering, Ken. So
that's our love language.
Okay, shut the fuck up. The 5 love languages.
Shut the fuck up, my love.
My love is a book that was written in 1992 by an evangelical Christian pastor, Dr. Gary Chapman. And so since 1992, it has sold more than 10 million copies. As of last year, I saw a statistic. It was on the New York Times bestseller list for 167 consecutive weeks, and in that time was still counting. When I look at the reviews of the book on Amazon, everyone's giving it 5 stars. They're falling all over themselves. And basically, the premise of the book is that we feel loved and appreciated when love is expressed in whatever our particular love language is. So those 5 love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So you said bullshit, right? And I think we both agreed.
And that's going to be an unpopular opinion because obviously this book resonates with a lot of people. If it's been on the best,
I have my reasons why I think it resonates. We'll get there. We're going to unpack this. So I agree with you.
But you said this is under self-help books, not just under like nonfiction, right?
Right, under 167 weeks under self-help books on the New York Times bestseller list. But okay, so I agreed with you that some of the fine details are probably bullshit. Maybe you can replace your love languages with other things. And again, full disclosure, I did not read the whole book and I did not get into the details. But the basic premise of the 5 love languages is, it's teaching you to be a little bit more emotionally literate, which is awesome. We're so emotionally illiterate and bad at relationships in this country that recognizing that your partner may interpret actions differently than you is really important. And it's kind of like elementary relationships 101. And it's something that maybe to you and I is obvious, like, that's like breathing air, but for a lot of people that isn't obvious. So for a lot of people, just getting that first elementary relationship 101, I think was very helpful.
I have 2 things that I want to comment on really quick.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is, how would this book apply to me if I were asexual?
It's love and relationship. It's not necessarily sex. It doesn't involve genitals. If your love language is dicks, then that's a problem. Or sexual. But I mean,
do you think that asexual people have maybe separate concerns that this would or would not cover?
No.
Okay.
No. And I mean, are we, words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, as long as they are, if they're asexual people that are not in relationships and not romantic and they are aromantic, well, then they may not have another partner. So, of course, that doesn't apply. But if they are asexual, but they still have a partner, or even friendships, like this, I think can apply to friendships, just the fact of knowing that, hey, you and I see the world differently. So if I do something, I shouldn't assume it means X, Y, Z to you. I should communicate. I think that applies.
See, I think I just wanted to open up the dialogue. I wanted to
relationship.
open up the dialogue about that just because I think that's something that, the aces oftentimes get left out of a lot of conversations.
Oh, I agree.
And I want to make sure that they know that we are out there and listening for them.
Mm-hmm.
I had two things that I wanted to ask. That was one.
Okay.
Second thing is, I challenge you to like we talked earlier, that like this was going to be the last time we talked about the goddamn love languages. But I have changed my mind, and I think that we should both read the book and then come back and let's do a review of what we actually read when we read the book completely from cover to cover, as opposed to what we think the book is about.
I will agree. I'll agree with that. I will do it. I did, however, because I'm going to do my research before I read this book. I'll read it. Did a little bit of research on the criticisms, and I thought some of the criticisms that came up were really valid when it comes to the whole premise of the 5 love languages and the premise of the book. One of them was there were some studies that were done, one study in particular that had couples sit down and fill out questionnaires, kind of like the dating game, like, is your partner's favorite color, or whatever it is. So they found out that couples were right about each other only 35% of the time. So we're really bad at mind reading, basically. But when they asked the couples, what do you think your accuracy rate would be, they said, at least 80%. I know my partner. So one of the criticisms is this whole premise on the 5 love languages promotes mind reading as opposed to actually talking to your partner, which I was like, okay, that's valid.
This makes me want to ask you 3 things. Who's my favorite author?
Dick, Philip K. Dick.
Yes. Dick, Philip K. Dick.
Okay, I got that right.
What is my favorite role-playing game?
Oh, okay. It's a cross between Shadowrun and Dungeons and Dragons.
I would actually.
Oh, Cthulhu.
Thank you.
Cthulhu.
Okay,
I'm sorry. It took me a
Cthulhu
minute. Call of
number
Cthulhu.
1.
I knew that. Okay, what's the third one?
What's my favorite food?
My pussy.
Actually, that's true.
Okay. See, I win. So
you're 2 for 3.
There you go. Now, your favorite food, you like peanut butter.
I do love peanut butter. I love anything peanut butter flavored.
Yeah.
But if I was going to sit down and have a dinner type food, what would it be?
You like beef. Did you see that little kid on the internet going, I like beef. I like beef. It's hilarious. You like the crab legs at Half Shell, the crab leg dinner.
I do.
But I didn't get it, did I? Just tell me. Come on, we're at our 80%, aren't we?
Chicken marsala.
Oh, I would never know.
If
someone had a gun to my head and said, you have to give the right answer, my brains would be all over the place. I would have never
What color
have
is my
guessed that.
toothbrush?
You're colorblind. I can tell you it's any color, and you believe me.
Bitch. Making fun of my disability, really? Ableist.
I don't know. Your color or your toothbrush
You're being
is...
ableist,
Shut up.
Sonny.
Your toothbrush is...
She beats me.
No, you always get the same... It's like red, right?
I don't fucking know. I'm colorblind.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That was a trick question. So I love you. So anyways.
So let me get to the other criticism that I think is a very important one. So the other criticism was that this book is not promoting love, it's promoting codependence, which I was like, well, okay, let me hear a little bit more about this. So it's fine that people have preferences and how they like to be loved, but codependency comes in because the book tells us that a good relationship is one where your feelings of happiness and self-worth and appreciation and love and all that stuff has to come from another person. So essentially it promotes the idea that it's our partner's job to meet our emotional needs. And if our emotional needs aren't being met, it's our partner's fault. They're doing something wrong. So that's not really a particularly healthy view in a relationship. And then in that situation, if we feel like, we're not being properly loved because it's our partner's fault, we start to feel resentful, like they dropped the ball. If my love language is, or like your love language is gift giving, and I could be like, Ken, I gave you that diamond bracelet, and what the fuck? And my love language is acts of service, and I can be like, I gave you that diamond bracelet, but fuck, could you help with the dishes every once once in a while, and then I start feeling like I'm doing all the heavy lifting in this relationship and you're not, and resentment breeds all sorts of bad shit in a relationship. So I thought that was really interesting, that the concept that I think we both live by, that if you are unhappy in your relationship, you don't point outward towards somebody else. I mean, it may be if there's abuse going on, but oftentimes if you're unhappy, maybe you should look at yourself too. It's not all on your partner to make you happy. It's
I would agree with that 100% of the
person
time.
to make you happy.
It takes two to tango when it comes to two-person relationships, and that really needs to be addressed in some fashion.
That actually made me think about toxic monogamy and all sorts of other different relationship types.
I think we should talk about that when we get back from our
break.
break.
Let's take a break. Ready?
All right, 1, 2, 3, bye-bye.
Castle Megastore. Once you see their sex toys, you'll want more. I have no idea if Castle Megastore actually has a theme song, but I really dig Castle Megastore. So that's my gift to you, Castle, your very own theme song. And you, listeners, get a gift too. If you go to castlemegastore.com and use discount code SUNNY, that's SUNNY, when you check out, you will receive 20% off your order. That's amazing. Castle Megastore. When you get your sex toys, you'll be on the floor because you'll be using them so much and they'll be so awesome and you'll save so much money. You'll get more than one and then you'll climax for a really long time and you'll just be passed out and you'll be like, oh my God, give me water. That was the best orgasm ever. And we're back. Monogamy. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with monogamy. I love monogamy. However, full disclosure, Ken and I, even though we're married, do not practice monogamy.
Wait. You love monogamy?
No.
That's what you said.
Okay, I love monogamy
for other people. Yes,
right.
Thank you.
I like the concept of monogamy for people that it's suitable for. A lot of people who are non-monogamous have this elitist attitude where you're not evolved if you're monogamous and you're like a basic bitch when it comes to relationships if you're monogamous. I think that's bullshit. I think different boats float different floats, or whatever the fuck the expression is.
I have no idea what expression
different
that
strokes is. Are on different boats. I don't know.
Different strokes for different folks.
Yes, or whatever floats your boat while you're getting a stroke. But some people are cut out for monogamy. Great. Some people are cut out for non-monogamy.
Some people are out for getting stroked while they're having a stroke.
Exactly. And that's cool as long as you figure out which one you are, you explore your options, you figure out what's suitable for you, and you find a partner that has the same ideals for you. That's great. And I just kind of went off on a tangent because, yes, I like monogamy. Is that clear? But the problem is, even though I like monogamy, and even though monogamists get a bad rap in the sex positive community, if you go to BDSM events, everyone expects you to have an open relationship. You go to some of these like academic sex conventions.
I wouldn't say everyone.
Not everyone, but there is more of a pressure there. If someone starts to flirt with you, they want to play. If you're like, hey, not interested, I'm monogamous with my partner, it's kind of like, oh, they're monogamous.
I would almost say the ratios are reversed, that there's as many, at a BDSM convention, there's probably as many poly people as there would be monogamous people.
Like in a default
vanilla situation.
Okay, yeah.
Like the ratios are almost reversed.
I agree with that. But even though I support whatever floats whoever's boat, go do what you're going to do as long as you have explored your options and you're not feeling forced into something that doesn't suit you. Monogamy, or at least some of the toxic notions that have been bred with monogamy, are kind of fucking us all up.
I agree.
You agree. So some of those. That when you are in a relationship, there is a feeling of ownership there. Like you own your partner, which also breeds jealousy. In monogamous relationships, or in, toxic monogamy, whatever you want to call it, jealousy is normalized and almost expected. It's like, I remember being in high school when I was very monogamous.
It is a normal, natural, healthy emotion for everybody to have, matter how many partners that you have. But I think that the difference here is that jealousy in the form that you're talking about is a little bit more severe than it would be. It's not just a pang of an emotion, but there's like more physical responses that go along with it that leads to arguing in many cases.
Well, monogamous relationships, one, like when I was in high school and I was dating a boy, and a boy would do something irrationally jealous, part of me was like, what a dick. But the other part of me was like, oh my God, that means he really loves me. If he's freaking out and beating up another guy because he looked at me, kind of thing, which that's really unhealthy. And secondly, jealousy, the way we look at jealousy being in a non-monogamous relationship, jealousy isn't something my partner is doing to me. I am jealous for a reason that I need to look inside myself for. Maybe I am feeling insecure with our relationship.
You know what we should talk about for just a second, and I know that you could probably make a whole episode of this, but I want to talk about what we that are in open relationships have that's called compersion. Can you explain compersion, Sonny?
Yes, compersion is an emotion that is the opposite of jealousy. And jealousy really isn't an emotion in and of itself. It's really anger or insecurity or, being scared, that sort of thing, kind of wrapped up in a ball of emotions that we call the jealousy. Compersion is the opposite of that. So when I know that you are, let's say, going out on a date or seeing somebody else or having sexy time or whatever it is, instead of me looking at you going, was that person got that I don't have, she's got my husband right now, blah, 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 I feel happy. That's compersion. When I look at you and I'm like, look at him. He's having a great time and he's happy. And that makes me feel warm and fuzzy and happy. That feeling is compersion. So I can have compersion with you if you're with another person. I can even have compersion with you when you're doing something that maybe I don't like. Let's say you're playing a game. Oh, what's that game you play with the land? It's not Risk, but it's the game. I hate that game.
Settlers of Catan?
Maybe. I don't like those games. And I don't want to play them. But when you're playing them, even though I'm like, ugh, that looks so boring, I see you having a good time. And I'm like, but he's having a good time. Or even when I don't like those kind of games, I might agree to play that game with you because I know it makes you happy, even though I want to stab my eyes out.
Yeah, I hate it when you're a gamer widow. I'd much rather play with you because you're fun to play games with.
Exactly. And a lot of games we like together, but those types of games I'm not a fan of.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I'm not. But I do it because I love you.
Like the resource counting games, that kind of thing. But you like fun games.
Yeah, I don't like
Cards Against Humanity.
I don't like I'm conquering land and I'm an army and I'm getting your territory. Like that's boring as fuck to me. But when I see you play it, whether I'm doing it with you or you're doing it with somebody else, I'm happy that you're happy. So it's kind of like gamer compersion.
That's actually a really good way to put it.
Oh, yay.
It makes me understand that a little bit better, and I think that it makes other folks take a look at what we have. And conversely to that, though, in the way that we're not open, I don't think either of us want like a boyfriend or girlfriend or somebody that's an emotional attachment. Like I think you and I have based our relationship where if we do have something sexual with another person, it's non-emotional for the most part.
I agree and I don't agree. Because I don't even know if there are words for it. Because I don't consider myself a swinger, which is like we go to a party, we meet some people that maybe we don't know very well and we fuck. That's not my thing at all. So I like to get emotional with people. So I like to have friends that I fuck, like fucky friends, people that I care about. Maybe I even love them, but more on a friendship. Like I'm not in love with them.
I think we're saying the same thing. Like, this is not a person that you want to advance your emotional state to the point where they are living with us.
Exactly. I don't want.
That's what I'm saying.
So I don't want the house and the kids.
Become attached or not like the person. That's obvious that you're going to like them because if they're good enough to have sex with. I should hope that you enjoy their company.
Right. And I think
it'd be awful if that were true.
No. But I think also part of it is because we play kinky, and I know we haven't really explained this to a lot of listeners that might be new to us, but it's, we're kind of 50 Shades of Grey. That's a very basic way to put it. But we play kinky with people that we may or may not have sex with. But what I like in those types of relationships is you go into like an emotional deep dive with that person. So maybe you've terrified the shit out of them, or you're playing with their emotional fears and you're playing with their psychology to a point where you have to get psychologically deep with that person. But that doesn't mean, oh, so now we know each other really well and we're going to move in together and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't mean
by the way,
that.
I do need to add something really important. That doesn't mean that I don't have strong feelings for my other partner, Lily.
Right.
Because Lily's amazing. We just don't live in the same town. But that, what I just said has nothing to do with her. It's more that, like, you and I just aren't looking for somebody to be a third.
Right. Like there's something called a polycule, where it's almost a poly family, and oftentimes those people will move in together and they will raise their kids together, and they will put,
I know a few folks that do that.
Right. All of the partners are on, I guess, equal footing in the relationship, where you and I, we're each other's primary partner, and we may have other partners that we are very emotionally attached to and we love, but we don't love them in a way where, like, hey, they're going to move in and sleep in our bed with us and help us raise our kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I love you, Lily. Just wanted to say that.
So back to toxic monogamy. Another notion that we have that monogamous society has given us is that you need someone to complete you, that you are not whole unless you have another person, which that's not really a healthy thing. We're all whole people. Other people don't complete us. They complement us. That love conquers all. That if you love each other enough or right, that it will conquer it'll conquer any incompatibilities you might have. That if you are incompatible, and maybe the stupidest thing in your relationship, it might be like putting the toothpaste cap on, or how you roll up the toothpaste thing is different, and you both have very strong feelings that are opposite, that you don't love each other enough or hard enough to overcome those obstacles, and that's bullshit. That commitment equals exclusivity. That I went to a doctor once, and they were taking my sexual history, and they're like, are you in a committed relationship? Well, yes. So they assume that.
Did you ask them if they were?
No, it's their job. But they assumed that meant I was monogamous. And they're like, well, how long have you been together? X amount of years. Then why are you getting an STI test? Because I'm not monogamous. But you said you were in a committed relationship. I am very committed to that partner, but I have other like, they don't get that committed doesn't mean exclusive. Mm-hmm. We're committed to each other. We're husband and wife, but we can have other partners that serve other purposes. Monogamy breeds the notion that your insecurities are your partner's responsibility. And this goes back to the jealousy thing. When I'm jealous, which isn't, I mean, it happens. It's a normal human.
You've never displayed it to me before.
It's
not
I have.
noticeable.
More in the beginning, because
in the very beginning, yeah.
I realized what I needed because we were working out our relationship. So just a little history. I had always wanted an open relationship. Pretty much all of my relationship fantasies and sexual fantasies had some element of being ethically non-monogamous, which means you're not cheating. You're doing it with all full knowledge of all of your partners, and you're upfront and honest about everything. But I didn't think people actually did that. And it wasn't until I met Ken that I practiced non-monogamy openly for the first time. And you as well, right? Pretty much, kind of.
No, it was a controlled non-monogamy that I had with.
You had a lot of weird conditions,
but there was a lot of conditions that I wasn't agreeing to. But you know what? We're going to pick this up when we get back from break.
Hey, psst. Did you know that American Sex has a Patreon page? Patreon.com is a great way for you to show your support for this podcast. It works kind of like, I don't know, funding for National Public Radio or how PBS works. If you like our work and the fact that we provide it to the world free of charge, you can help financially support it. And depending on how much you pledge, you might even get a nifty, cool reward. Oh, and everybody who pledges gets access to our private Patreon feed that's just for supporters. So you thinking about it? You want to know more? Check out the details at patreon.com/American Sex. I know you're fancy, and I know you've been eyeing some of those luxury sex toys, haven't you, you frisky little fox? Well, I also know that you enjoy a good discount, don't you, dear? You now can get 20% off your entire order plus free shipping at luxury sex toy retailer Lalo.com with discount code SUNNY. Yes, dear, you heard me right. 20% off anything your little heart, or, well, other parts, desire at LELO.com using discount code SUNNY. Yes, dear, you can thank me later.
Welcome back to American Sex with Ken Melvoin-Berg and Sonny Megatron.
So I want to go back to, you were in an ethically non-monogamous relationship, which means that, you know, both partners are open and honest and agree, but you had conditions put on you that were unfair that you didn't agree to. So was that really an ethical relationship?
No, I guess it was unethical non-monogamy.
Right. It was like my way or the highway. This is the way we're doing it.
It was the source of the reason that we separated eventually. That, you know, we were both people that wanted to have some form of alternative sexuality, in that she was bisexual and wanted to be able to be with women, but she didn't want me to be with women. So she wanted me to be able to watch her. She's like, but you can have all the guys you want. But my issue with that was that I wasn't bisexual. You know, I'm hetero, and what I would like if we were going to both be non-monogamous is that I would want a female partner, and she had a lot of insecurities about that.
Okay.
And so there would be threesomes that would happen, but it wouldn't be alone time.
And I'm sure when and this feeds right back into what we're
talking
about.
So I don't know, is that ethical or unethical? Like, I came to a compromise, but it was something I didn't want to do, and it was something I didn't want to be a part of.
You couldn't agree on the terms.
And we couldn't agree on the terms,
yeah.
And that's why it took so long for you and I. You know, like, I was real distant after I got done with this, so it was hard for me to commit to even saying I love you, and then I didn't stop, I don't think, after like the first year.
I love you, and they were like, I love you, I love you, I love you. But going back to the notion that your insecurities are your partner's responsibility, so in that situation, the insecurity of your partner was she was jealous of you being with other women.
Yes.
So instead of saying, but we've agreed to be open, so that's some shit I got to work on myself, she put it on you like, well, you just shouldn't want other women, then why don't you want some dick? Basically. So she was making her insecurities your problem instead of turning inward and working on her own shit.
Correct.
Or turning inward and saying, you know what, this isn't for me. I think I need to be monogamous and, you know, forget me getting some action on the side from women.
You know what, though? The part of it for me was like, I get off on watching my partners get off and whatever that means for them. And so, you know, part of it was that there was part of me that was very happy about what was going on, much like when you're with somebody, it makes me happy.
Aw. Yeah, I going back, though, like you were saying, when I was jealous in the beginning, I was. And I think the thing about ethically non-monogamous relationships are there aren't really any set rules.
I agree.
So we agree to be honest with each other. We agree to have some sort of open relationship. And then at that point, and of course everything's consensual and that sort of thing. But at that point, we have to craft our own rules. So anyone looking for, I want to have an open relationship, let's, you know, get a roadmap of how we should do this. There isn't really a roadmap because you have to make your own. So that was kind of the hard part. And since I had never done this before, I didn't know what would trigger my jealousy. And we had a lot of like, oh my God, I'm jealous. And then we had to talk about shit and figure it out. And he had to kind of be my therapist, and we had to process each other's feelings without like being like, it's your fault, you're an asshole, which is hard to do. A lot of people can't do that. And I realized that things that made me jealous, one, not knowing your other partner. So when we're not Facebook friends, or we haven't met in real life, or we haven't had a conversation, I make her into this like goddess that's so much better than me. And then when I meet her in real life, it's like, oh, she's really fucking cool.
And then
like,
she farts,
good job.
And
then I high five you.
Human being because you hear her fart.
Exactly. Another thing that triggers my jealousy is when our relationship isn't satisfying me. So if I feel like we haven't had enough date nights or we haven't had enough sex or you're not paying attention to me or whatever, and then you go out with someone else, that makes me like, wait a minute, like someone's getting something that I should be getting. So I realize it's not your fault. Well, I mean, maybe a little, but not in that way. It's not the other person's fault. It's on me to open my mouth and be like, hey, Ken, I feel like you've been a little distant lately. Why don't we have a date night? I need to.
That's a good idea.
I need to express my needs. When I am triggered by jealousy for that reason, that's my cue to process my feelings, open my mouth, express my needs to you because you're not a mind reader. And then everything's fine. So,
unless you pay me $150 an hour, then I'm a mind reader.
Are you a gigolo or a psychologist or a lawyer?
A psychic.
Okay.
Did you forget?
I didn't know what you were trying to be. I had no idea. So, not dissing monogamy. Again, there are a lot of people that are monogamous, and I support you. I think it's awesome. I will have your back at sex conventions and kink clubs when people are kind of like giving you the cold shoulder. However, the culture of monogamy, our American culture, has bred a lot of these unhealthy ideas that we just talked about. So when it comes to non-monogamy, so we've described ourselves as ethically non-monogamous or open, I think are the two terms that we use for ourselves.
Or monopoly.
Sort of, yeah. Like sort of monogamous when it comes to like life partner kind of stuff. You're my only one life partner.
Yeah.
But poly, taken from polyamory, when it comes to other things. So that could be a descriptor. Some of the other open relationship types.
I still consider it emotionally monogamous.
Yeah. Some of the other relationship types that there are. So there's polyamory, which means many loves, which is you have different partners, and the generic you listening, whoever, you have many partners, and they are actually romantic relationships. You have some sort of emotional entanglement. That could be to the point of, hey, we're all going to live together and raise kids, or it could be more like us, like we love our other partners, but we are never going to embroil our lives and bank accounts and beds with our other partners. So
right.
And then there's swinging.
You're the only this is what our relationship is. You're the only person that I'm fucking that I'm going to pay a cable bill with.
Ooh, yeah. We're going to get fucked by Comcast together. It's a threesome.
Oh, yeah, baby.
So there's also swinging, which that might have been a swinging scenario because I don't really love Comcast. I have no emotional attachment to Comcast. Swinging is when you have other sexual partners for the fun, the sex of it. It's kind of more of a hedonistic thing. You hear about swing clubs where people will go to different sex clubs, and usually you are with your partner. A lot of people who are into swinging tend to be in heterocentric sort of relationships where there's a man and a woman and they're married and they go to the swing club and maybe they partner swap with another couple. Oftentimes in a lot of parts of the country, the woman is expected to be bisexual, and at least in our area of the country, we're in the Midwest, it's more unusual to find men in the swinging community that are bisexual, although good thing that's changing because I don't like to shun anybody.
Well, this is interesting. So the way that works in a lot of the local communities is that they have one night out of a month or something along those lines that's particularly for bisexual men at the swing clubs. What's not the same about it is that bisexual men are welcome to be bisexual at every single event. In some swing clubs, they are.
So, yeah, there's many different kinds of open relationships. And, again, it's kind of the same thing. Like, you pick the label that fits you. For us, it's ethical non-monogamy. And for you, it might be something... What's the one you told
me about the other day, the comet? What is that?
Oh, the comet. Okay. This I really liked. It's a sort of new term, and Urban Dictionary describes it as a comet is a person that passes through your life repeatedly who is intense and awesome, and when gone, you are still in contact with that person in some way, but they are not a continuous partner.
You know what? That's my friend Heather.
Okay, yeah. And I tend to have partners
Squirty
like
blonde
that.
Heather.
Yeah, I tend to have partners like that where it's like we'll see each other at an event and we'll have a, good dirty time, and then maybe we chit chat on Facebook here and there, but we don't really keep in contact, and it might be another year before we see each other, and then we do it again. So I actually like partners like that, comets. They burn heavy and hot and then kind of go away and then come back sort of cyclically.
Yep.
Which is kind of cool. So now I think here's what we're going to do. We are going to, is there anything else you want to add about non-monogamy, about our relationship?
I just realized
What?
both of our comets are blondes.
Oh yeah. we both have blonde comets. That's funny. Anything else you want to add, Ken? Before we take our break and we switch gears.
Yeah, I want to add something. I'm the
What?
luckiest motherfucker on the face of the earth, and I love you very much.
Oh, I'm the
You're
luckiest
amazing.
daddy fucker on the face of the earth.
What?
I like to fuck mothers too. I'm bisexual.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm trying to.
oh, lucky's daddy fucker. Okay, I was like, whose daddy are you fucking? I mean, that's cool and everything, but you didn't mention this before.
And I never call you that. That's not part. Some women call their male partners daddy, or even their female partners daddy.
I was actually confused by that.
But yeah, I've never called you. That's not something I call. But I was trying to go with the joke, like motherfucker, dad fucker, and it just fell flat on its face and made you think I had a partner you didn't know about, and suddenly that triggered jealousy because you didn't know who it was.
No, it was confusion. It wasn't jealousy.
Okay. Let's take a break. And then I want to switch gears and I want to talk about something specific to your genitals. Not your genitals personally. I mean, I don't know. We'll just talk about
We're going to talk about male multiple Kegels next. You ready? Break in 3.
No, we're breaking.
2.
You don't have to say break in 3, 2, 1 every time.
I want to.
Oh, God. You're
Stop
like the little kid who
arguing.
wants to press the button. Let me press the button.
All right, yeah, and make sure to leave all this in. Break. 3, 2, 1. Bickering is our love language.
Friends of mine are friends of Love Honey too. All Sunny Megatron fans get 10% off everything at Love Honey's U.S. site by using the link bit.ly/lovehoney10. That's bit.ly/lovehoney10. Want to know which sex toys, accessories, and BDSM gear Ken and I recommend? Well, hop on over to sunnymegatron.com to read our reviews. Every time you click a product link or use a coupon code on our website, we get a bonus. Discount codes and special links you hear on this podcast benefit us too. So look at that. You can support our show and get discounts on sexy gear all at the same time. Now that is a win-win. And we're back.
We're back.
Oh, God, you are like the little kid who has to press all the buttons. Let me press the button. You didn't let me say we're back. You didn't let me say it in a DJ voice.
There's a spider on you.
What? Shut the fuck up. God damn it. I hate you. Oh, are you kidding? You are.
No,
right?
I'm not kidding.
What?
You
What?
knocked
Where?
it off.
Where?
You
Where?
knocked it
Where
off.
was it?
You knocked
Where?
it off. It was on your back.
Are you
It's on the
serious?
floor, and
Where
it went.
is it?
I don't know. It went behind the stars.
All right,
behind the
I
stars.
just totally freaked out. Hold on, let me put my headphones back. Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding.
Why did you tell me? Why did you tell me? Why didn't you just come up and hit me?
Why didn't I come up and hit you?
Why didn't
What are
you?
What are you having a stroke?
No. I mean, why didn't you just get it off? Why didn't you just casually get up?
I have headphones on and I'm stuck behind a chair. It's just a spider. It didn't do anything. You didn't even feel it.
Having a partner that knocks spiders off of me, no matter what the obstacles, is my love language. Ken, the next thing is about penises.
And about penile multiple orgasms.
Ooh. So wait a minute. I have a vagina. I can have multiple orgasms because I don't have a refractory period, which is that period between when a penis comes and then it gets hard again. Sometimes for some men it's hours or even the next day. I don't have that because I got a pussy. So how can you make your dick like my pussy, Ken? God, I sound like my mother. I'm channeling my mother. Pussy, pussy, pussy. Dick.
Well, I can't ever really make it like yours unless I become a trans person. But outside of that, what we're talking about is having multiple orgasms for people that normally aren't capable of doing that. So there's a muscle that we have that's called the PC muscle, or the pubococcygeal muscle. And in people with cocks, this is the muscle. If you have an erection and you're making your boner do the boner dance, that's the muscle that makes it bounce up and down. So when you have and I think all people with penises have done this at some point in their lives, where they're standing in the shower, nobody's around, an erection happens, and you make it dance and bounce up and down. Now the muscle that we use to make this happen is our PC muscle, which is coincidentally the same muscle that starts and stops streams of urine. And and the reason that all of this is important is that PC muscle is something that when you're about to have an orgasm, you can squeeze this muscle and you can delay and have a mini orgasm instead, where it's like twice the amount of normal pre-cum that you would have and a little wave of orgasm, but you can still have a great big huge splashy orgasm after that, or even 2 times after that, depending on how strong that PC muscle is. So there's a couple ways to exercise this. First way, you're going to be doing cock-ups. Now, the way that we do this is we take your penis, get it erect, take a wet washcloth, put it on the end of the penis, and lift it up and down. So you're lifting weights with your cock.
I want to make like an 80s exercise video with a penis with a little terry cloth headband.
Oh, I was just going to say.
And and then be like, and
a Richard
3
Simmons,
more.
And a Richard Simmons afro.
2 more. And switch. I don't know.
And so what you do at that point then is you're doing your cock-ups 10 times, do it in 3 sets. Next, you're going to start and stop your stream of urine when you go to the urinal or the bathroom at your house. You're going to go there and you're going to stop it 10 times, and then you're going to stop it 10 more times, and then you're going to stop it 10 more times. So, or you can do it over 3 different pees around the day, but either way you have to start and stop that stream of pee. And the last one is that as you're sitting just in your chair or wherever you are, you can just tighten your butt cheeks as hard as you can. And what you're doing when you're tightening that and you're holding it, that muscle that starts to feel the ache from holding in your tightened butt cheeks is the PC muscle. And you're going to hold it as long as you can and do it 10 times in a row, and then do that in 3 sets. So everything is in 3 sets and 10 reps. So again, it is the cock-ups with the wet washcloth. It is starting and stopping your stream of urine. And then the last one is tightening the butt cheeks and holding it.
So, Ken, this is good for, as you said, multiple orgasms.
It is also good for premature ejaculation.
Right,
That's one of the other big side effects is that if you are a premature ejaculator, use this technique, and you can even couple it if you're having extreme problems. Take your testicles, pull them away from your body, and that heat difference will make it so that it's at least more difficult to have an orgasm.
Very good.
And then what was the other thing you were going to add in?
It will also make the orgasms that you do have,
more strong.
Right, stronger, God, yeah. Able to control, as you said, with the premature ejaculation.
And if you're using the technique called edging, it's like edging, only it's more intense. So it's along that spectrum of orgasms.
Mm-hmm. Ken, very quickly,
yes.
Explain, unless you want me to, what edging is, just for those listeners who don't know.
Sure. Edging, kind of in a nutshell, is taking your arousal and extending it much longer than you normally would, either through instruction from your partner or just doing whatever you can to make sure that orgasm doesn't happen. And then when you finally get to that point where you're either allowed to come, if it's a BDSM thing, or you just feel like waiting as long as you can, and this is the moment you just can't hold back anymore, that orgasm really increases more intensely because it's had more time to build up desire, prostatic fluid, all the different neurotransmitters that are going on in hormones. They're building up and up and up and up as you extend this. And so the feeling that you're going to be getting as a result of this, the endorphin rush, is going to be much better.
And the same goes for people with vaginas.
With vaginas, yeah.
Edging is basically like getting yourself to the edge of orgasm and then pulling back a little, and then getting yourself to the edge of orgasm and pulling back. So when you do finally have that orgasm, it's like, bam. And as far as Kegels go, we can do Kegels too. Those of you who are listening in the last episode, yes, I am not even kidding you. I peed in my pants. It happens. It happens. So I've had 2 kids. I've had 2 vaginal births. Sometimes when I least expect it, I'm like, achoo! And then I have to run to the bathroom and I have the sneeze pees. So the Kegel exercises for me, for people with vaginas, are just as good, A, for incontinence reasons, B, for the same reasons that Ken talked about, making your orgasms more likely to happen. For those of us who have a problem reaching climax, it's going to make them stronger, a little bit more predictable, that sort of thing. And we have something really cool we can use. We can do the squeeze, the squeezing. And for us, it's a little different because it's like you can squeeze your butthole and you can squeeze your vagina. And you have to make sure you're actually, those of you who have vaginas, start squeezing with me. So there, the front. Okay, squeeze your butt just so you know how it feels. Squeeze your butt. You too can. Squeeze your butt.
I'm squeezing it.
Squeeze
2,
your butt. So it's
3,
your butthole, your butthole,
4,
your butthole, your butthole.
5,
You feel what that feels
6,
like. Now, those of you with
7,
vaginas.
8.
Now squeeze just
9.
the front without doing the butt.
I can't squeeze
just
the front.
because you don't have a vagina, Ken.
Okay.
Also, though, I can move my ears and you can't. It's just a hereditary thing. So maybe but I'm squeezing just the front and not the butt.
Alien.
I'm an alien. Yeah, I can move my ears and just my clitoris. So that's Kegels, or we can use those Kegel balls that are sometimes 1, sometimes 2 balls that are together. And you
have you ever thought that sounds like something you'd get at IKEA as a decoration?
Kegel balls?
Yes, it just sounds like the name of a Swedish toy that you would get for it's massage.
Or
and it's a
they
house
have
decoration.
really good meatballs at
It's
IKEA.
the Kegel balls.
They have really good meatballs there. Maybe they could be special meatballs. I wonder what it would be like if I put meatballs in my vagina and squeeze them.
I think that'd be a UTI waiting to happen.
It totally would, but I bet you someone would pay big bucks for that on video, Ken.
They probably would.
Yeah, they probably would. So, yeah, if you don't want to pee in your pants when you're laughing, I don't know what made us pee in our pants. Or me, I peed. Do you ever laugh and pee in your pants, Ken?
I've never done that. No.
You have no idea what that's like?
No.
I've noticed men, though, tend to have oops poops where we have sneeze pees. Men have oops poops.
Yeah, we have more oops poops.
Okay. I don't think I've ever had an oops poops.
You might not have.
You have?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Is there any exercises that can that help for oops poops? Or not really?
No, nothing can.
No, do oops poops happen more as you get older?
Or drunker.
Or eat more, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, just there's a variety of reasons that, you can be relaxed enough to make that happen. Anything from seizures to extreme amounts of alcohol to age to butt problems.
To that sugar-free ice cream.
That's what did it to me.
Oh, my God.
It was the sugar-free ice cream. And
Holy
it made me have to shit
moly.
something fierce, and I couldn't make it all the way.
Do you remember on Amazon, they had the sugar-free...
That was a shitty day.
They had the sugar-free gummy bears on Amazon, and people were talking about, the lava mountain poops that they were having because...
Oh, yeah.
Go look up sugar-free gummy bears on Amazon if you have not. It's a real treat.
Apparently, one of the things that Amazon just did, and I haven't seen this myself yet, but they have some celebrity readers doing vocals of the funniest reviews on Amazon.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that cool three-toed sloth shirt that you're the 3 sloths howling at the moon shirt that you got me.
Oh yeah,
those reviews were hilarious.
Those are really good. I would like to hear, who was it that did 50 Shades of Grey? Gilbert Gottfried. And then her vagina. I would like to hear Gilbert Gottfried reading. I just looked at reviews for a 55-gallon drum of lube that was on sale half price for Prime Day yesterday. Well, and now it's a month from now, but when we're recording it was yesterday. And it's normally $3,000 for this 55-gallon drum of lube, which we saw on our show, first episode of Sex with Sunny Megatron. We were at kink.com, and they had big drums of lube in the hallway and shit with a big pump on it. So it's $3,000, but on Amazon Prime Day, you could get the lube for $1,500, which isn't bad for 55 gallons of lube. And the fucking reviews were hilarious. There was one review going, I had my kid's birthday party, and we live on a big hill, And I wanted to have a slip and slide, but I've had problems before with water in the slip and slide. So he's like, so I got this thing of lube thinking it would be perfect for my kid's birthday party, slip and slide. And then it turned into some like circus murder scene where the kids were sliding all over the neighborhood and like crashing. It was really funny. So
nothing says funny like dead kids.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, this started out really educational. Like, we're going to talk about non-monogamy. And then we ended up with shit and dead children. How did this happen, Ken?
I don't know, but I can't think of a better place to end our podcast. So, everybody, I wanted to thank you again for listening to Ken and Sunny on American Sex. Sunny, do you have any last moments for us?
Just, we'll see you next week. And goodbye. And you're going to hear a thing in a minute. Stick around. Keep hearing, because you're going to hear a thing that tells you how to get in touch with us. And I want to hear what you want to hear in our podcast. So get in touch. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to American Sex. To keep up with Ken and I, well, first make sure you watch our TV show, Sex with Sunny Megatron, on Showtime. Then visit sunnymegatron.com. There you can learn more about us, read our blog, peruse our workshop calendar, or hire us. For what? Well, either for private coaching, or to book us to teach at your event or university, or as sex and relationship writers for your publication. Oh, and don't forget, we're on social media, too. I'm the super social one, so you can find me as Sunny Megatron on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, my YouTube channel, and a bunch of other places. But if you want to get me on Snapchat, you got to look for Sunny_Megatron, and you can follow Ken on Twitter at @tag SyChicken. That's PSYCHICKEN. Also, please support us by shopping with the affiliates and sponsors from our breaks. And if you contribute to our Patreon, we're going to love you forever. Well, we're going to love you forever anyway, but just go with it. Lastly, if you like this broadcast, tell people about it. Tweet it, Facebook status it, and rate it on iTunes and other platforms. Thanks, friends. We'll see you next week on American Sex.